Hey, what's happening everyone? Sir James from Gamerfuzion.com, and in today's video I want to go ahead and give you guys my first impressions of the Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta. However, I don't want to go into much of a deep discussion due to the fact that it's currently in beta phase, and I want to go into a much more deeper discussion once the game is officially out. Second, I pretty much want to go ahead and start this off with a clean slate by stating that I have never played the multiplayer aspect of the Uncharted games in the past due to the fact that I've only played the Uncharted series for its single player aspect rather than the online multiplayer until today. So first off, the overall beta was a lot of fun and I had a great time with the experience, especially when the game is in third person mode, which is not too often seen in video games today, and it's quite nice to see a third person shooter every once in a while. And the game is running in butter smooth 60 frames per second, which makes the experience a lot more better. So first off, pretty much anything and everything that you would think of that you're able to do in the single player aspect, as far as I'm concerned, you're able to do in the online multiplayer. Now during the beta, we only had access to one game mode and 3 different maps, and of course some customization options. The game mode that we got to play was called Team Deathmatch, where the first team to 35 points is declared the winner. And like I said, we had 3 different maps and we had a little bit of customization. To kind of give you guys an idea for customization is that of course you could customize your loadout, type of weapons you want to use, secondary weapons, perks, and all that fun stuff. And of course some of the customization options that you had was like different headwear or even skins for your characters. Like for example, you could have Nathan Drake in his normal wear, or you could have him wearing a tuxedo, or in this case he could be in a tuxedo wearing a mask, pair of shades, a hat, whatever it is that you want to do. And pretty much the way the game is divided into is that you have good guys against bad guys. You have your selections of hero like Nathan Drake solely, and then you have a selection of bad guys. Now some people might find this kind of weird to see like 4 Nathan Drakes running around in a multiplayer map, but then again, the way I see it is that if there's an opportunity to play as a hero or villain that you really want to play as, then you do have the option instead of trying to figure out, oh, this player got Nathan Drake, now you can't choose him. So I'm glad they kind of did it that way. But then again, some might find that a little bit annoying, but of course you can kind of customize your Nathan Drake any way you want. Now again, since this was the beta, we had very little amount of customization to be access to, so I don't know if it's going to be this small when the game does come out, or if there's going to be a lot more to it, because if this is only going to be it, then unlocking everything is going to be super quick. In this case, it's not going to provide a longevity in terms of replay value. However, if they do add a lot more things to unlock and get access to, then we can see us coming back to playing this more often. In this case, it is a lot of fun, so I wouldn't see why not. But anyways, during the initial gameplay, it is pretty much either run and gun, or you could use a cover-based system depending on your personal playstyle. But first, I want to go ahead and talk about the grappling hook, because you are taking part into a training video right at the very beginning, and you learn how to use the grappling hook, which I found useful for more than just, making your way from an open gap. So you can use this to traverse gaps between maps depending on what the situation may be. However, if you actually hold down the grappling hook button, your character is basically going to do an animation where he swings it around and then grabs onto it, and basically this is a one-hit melee knockout. Basically you will knock out your opponent. However, they're not quite dead yet, but you can finish it off with a satisfying blow with a kick to the face. And like literally kicking your opponent across the face when they're on the ground is just ever so satisfying, and I thought that was a lot of fun. Another nice use for the grappling hook is that if you happen to time it perfect, again, it's a rare moment for this to happen, but if there's an enemy close by or maybe on the other side of a particular gap and you swing across and use your melee option, you literally do a one-hit KO melee. They're going to be dead on the spot, and it's moments like that you could pull it off, works out quite well. Now the game does give you some abilities or power-ups, if you will. You have these things called sidekicks, if you will, and there's about 4 different types. You have one that's heavily armored that carries around an LMG that's able to lay down heavy fire, suppressive fire against your enemy units, and of course you kind of use it to protect you in different situations, but he's only going to be good for attacking other players, and he's not going to be so helpful in terms of reviving you if you happen to be down. In terms of reviving, you also have another sidekick that is a medic that will be more than happy to revive you or other fallen teammates. You also have this other guy, I'm not sure exactly what he was, but he pretty much ran around And the way I see it, he's like probably the one character it's good to have because he automatically knows where the enemy units are at, but he'll run to an enemy unit and he'll put them into a grapple, which in this case you could finish off the enemy quite easily. And then last but not least, you also have a sniper, which is dead on accurate. So if you are ever going to be dealing with snipers, you definitely don't want to mess with them on the wrong end, but it's also good to have on your team. Now another fun aspect is climbing around. Now you might be thinking, climbing around, how is that useful? How is that fun? Well, you'd be surprised at what you're able to do and how often you could surprise enemies just by utilizing climbing or hanging over an edge. For example, if you've been having to climb on over to a top ledge area where an opponent may be, or maybe the edge of a cliff and your opponent is close enough, you could literally reach on over, grab your opponent, and toss them over to their deaths. And I've done that a lot. Another fun aspect is literally hanging on over to the edge of a map or a cliffside and you're just watching the opponents pass right by you like a blind eye, to the point where you just simply get up there and surprise them from behind and boom, easy kills on the spot. Another fun aspect that they've included is treasure hunting. Now on your minimap, you're going to be finding little bits and pieces of diamonds that you could pick up, and oftentimes you might be able to find a relic. Now what's fun about the relics is that if your opponent happens to have a relic, you can literally steal theirs upon their death. And again, just little things like that just kind of makes it a little bit more tense, because relics are good because you're going to be able to use those extra points to unlock a special crate. In this case, you could get like a skin or whatever it is. You never know because the item is completely random. Now with all that in mind, everything about this was a lot of fun. I mean, being able to explore the map and kind of find little hidden areas or pathways that people often don't take, using grappling hooks as an advantage for different type of kills or easy melee attacks, and of course being able to use the loadout customization screen to kind of change up and to determine your overall playstyle with a few different variety of different weapons, stuff utilizing close combat to long distances with sniper rifles. But again, everything about this was really enjoyable. But again, that was pretty much my initial quick impression of the Uncharted 4 multiplayer. If you guys haven't checked it out, I would highly recommend you do so. If not, then you're definitely in for a treat once the game does get released. But like I said, I'll be doing a much more in-depth review of the multiplayer aspect when the game does get released. However, I might divide it into two reviews where I review the first one in terms of its single player aspect, and then I may do a review on its multiplayer portion depending on if they add a lot more to it, but we'll just have to wait and see because the game is not going to be released until May 10th. But what did you guys think of the Uncharted 4 multiplayer? Let me know in the comment section down below, and until then, I am Sir James from Gamerfuzion.com, where we empower your gaming.